Happy Friday, y'all. Welcome to the Smart Life Club. This is the Coffee Break Show, and I'm Vickie Helm. I'm so glad you're with us today. It is Friday. It's Friday. It's been a great week. We had a lot of good discussion. We did a lot of great stuff, and today I want to talk about something that's near and dear to my heart because a lot of people are so excited and they all have great plans. And when things fail, they just don't know what to do. That's what we're going to be talking about today. If you're new today, do me a favor, put your name down below so I know who you are. Welcome to the Coffee Break Show with Vickie Helm. So glad you've joined us today. And if you're watching the replay, do me a favor and put hashtag replay. So I know that you're here on the replay as well. That'd help me out. Now, listen, if you're on YouTube and you like the show and you think this was a good episode, do me a favor and smash that like button for me and subscribe to that channel down below because we share live every day. I'm doing the live thing on YouTube for the very first time. Not sure what I'm doing. I'm just going to do that and make it so that I can find out how the live stream works for YouTube and how to build that audience. We're going to figure that out together, aren't we? So it's Friday and I'm so excited to see you. Hey, I got some great people on already. Lori, good morning, my friend. I haven't seen you in a while over here. So glad to see you on the Coffee Break Show today. Robert Stern, happy Friday. Tell yourself it is going to be a great day. That's right. It is going to be a great day. I just saw your post, buddy. Thank you. So I want to take a look at all of Fridays. Now, a lot of times, all your best laid plans, all your best laid everything just crumble. It doesn't go the way you thought it was going to go. So my year last year had a lot of that in it. We were going to go to Puerto Rico, which we did. And we were going to come back and then go to Pennsylvania, then down to Florida, then back over to Puerto Rico, then out to California. We had all the best laid plans you could ever have, best laid plans. And then, of course, there was a death and we had it was like somebody threw a wrench in our motor and it just stopped. And we didn't quite know what to do. And because it was a family member that was recovering from that, we made the choice to rearrange our plans. So what happens when things don't go your way? Or what happens worse than that? What happens when you fail? What happens when it doesn't feel good and you're out there plugging away? What do you do? What do you do when failure happens? How do you get back up on your feet when failure happens? And I'm going to share what I do. And I'd love to hear what you guys do to go ahead and make that kind of correction in your life and say, hey, this is what I'm going to do now. This is how I'm going to do it. And so when we take a look at failure, I have to assess damage control. Like if it's a business that's failing or a relationship that's failing, a marriage that's failing, whatever it is, I start assessing the damage. And a lot of the time, I don't see failure as failure. I don't even think it exists. I don't think the word exists. I think that me and the divine are steering a boat and that weather happens at sea. And when weather happens at sea, you have to have enough skills. Good morning, everybody coming on. You have to have enough skills to figure out where you want to take your ship. And the way you handle failure, good morning, on the road again, learn forward and keep on trucking. That's right, Donnie. Thank you. So what happens when you're sailing forward over the seas? You don't know what the conditions of the seas are. So the way I handle failure is to build a really sturdy boat. I mean, a boat that can move through all kinds of weather. Now, what's the biggest part of my boat? What's the biggest part of my success boat? The 6 inches between here. This is part of the engine room. This is the thing that powers the direction I'm going in. And if it's negative, I'm going to have stormy weather all the way across and most likely fail. And if it's looking out for things and it's assessing versus judging, then what happens is I can listen inward here and see, because this right here, this is the captain of the ship. This is the engine room. This is the captain of the ship. So when it comes to maneuvering through failure and things like that, I do not believe in failure. I do not believe in failure. Do I believe that there's going to be weather that I have to go through and maybe some storms and maybe some flat, glassy seas? You bet I do. And what happens when I get on that sea? I know where I want to go. And if something says, I know you want to go this way, but today we're going this way and then out this way, then this way, then back out this way, over here. And it becomes this kind of circuitous route. I don't say to myself, oh my God, I had to turn right, I'm failing. I don't say that. I watch the weather pattern. Okay, what's happening here in my world where I need to steer the ship differently? See, I always know I'm going to get the ship to port, but it doesn't mean the path that I created for that ship to go to port is going to be exactly perfect and it's going to go exactly as planned. It's going to have weather no matter what it is and the unexpected. And sometimes the unexpected sucks and sometimes the unexpected is so awesome, so excellent. And when we go out to see that, we go out to experience that, we are living. We are living. So I want to go over here. Barb says, good morning from Oregon, everyone. Hey, Barb. Barb is like the puppy mom right now. She's getting no sleep and up hours. You know, last night I was watching the puppy cam way late at night just because I wanted to relax. And I thought, go to the puppy cam. I love the puppy cam. Good morning, Barb, said Robin. Scott says, failure equals a discovery that new plans and new directions will with a greater potential for success that looms just over the horizon. I like that very much. That is super true for me. I'm going to read that again because failure is also an opportunity. Failure equals a discovery that new plans and a new direction with a greater potential for success that looms just over the horizon. That is really, really cool. I like that. I like discovering in that way. Robin says, if you reflect on the experiences, rarely do plans go exactly as planned. It's all our responses to what is happening, which takes me to my next point. Failure is nothing more than a perspective. That's it. Failure is nothing more than a perspective. And so where is the perspective in your life held? Right here in the engine room. Great to be here today, Sean. Nice to see you. So when we have that kind of thing, it's like I said, I do not believe in failure. That's the first way I handle failure. The one is I take the definition of failure and I turn it to journey. This has failed. That's a story you're telling yourself. This is bad. This is wrong. This has failed. This is this. This is that. When you see opportunities, when you see hurdles, when you see obstacles, when something has failed, like I know the most painful thing for me is the day I've had to shut the door on businesses. And so I want to be really honest. I am up to my 19th business, but 6 of them have failed miserably. They have bombed. They have gone down in flames. 12 of them have been successful. I usually say I've created 12 successful businesses, and that's true. But I don't say I've created 19 businesses and 6 have failed, but 6 have. And at the end of those failures, I have felt terrible because somewhere along the line, somebody outside of myself may have lost some money, may have lost some investment that came in. And so what happens when you move forward in that way is that you're telling yourself something that is unhealthy. I want to go back over here because you guys are replying over here. You guys are replying so well. Let's see. If you reflect on experiences, rarely do plans go exactly as planned. It's all about your responses to what is happening. I so agree with that. How you respond determines your outcome. Let's see, Sean, you only win or learn. It depends on how you look at it. Sean, I totally agree with that. You either win or you learn, and that's it. It depends on how you're looking at it. Everything is perspective. Now, remember, the most important thing you can know is that thoughts only do 2 things. That's it. They only impair you or empower you. So if you're saying I failed and that perspective sucks, you are disempowering yourself. Now, if you've said, well, I got to close this business and start from ground zero or figure it out, you have a different perspective. Failure then doesn't become a thing that sinks you. And the thing that sinks you isn't failure. It isn't the thing that's happening. What sinks you is your engine room, because it stops working for you. That's the most important thing. It's like we said earlier in the week. Thoughts will either impair you or empower you. You do not become the thought. This is so important to understand. I know I've already know this, but yes, I know that you know this. Now let's go deeper. Let's go a little bit deeper. We discussed earlier this week. It's like going to a bar. When you get up to the bar, you order 6 shots of whiskey. You drink 6 shots of whiskey and you don't become the whiskey. You become the effect of the whiskey. You become drunk. You're drunk. You're like, I have had 6 shots. I don't know who I am right now. And so when you have 6 shots, you don't become the whiskey, you become the effect of the whiskey. And that's how thoughts are. Thoughts are no different than being alcohol or vitamins. So toxic thinking, when you sit down and you have 6 toxic thoughts, you're throwing back all these chemicals that are going from your limbic system into your body, and you're drunk on negativity. And what happens is your mind tends to believe your negativity or tends to believe your success. But your soul knows better. It knows not to believe in this or that. It just knows that some thoughts are going to impair you or some thoughts are going to empower you. If you have empowering thoughts or negative thoughts and you can just remove yourself and see them as thoughts, you'll understand that you are only going to feel the effects of your thoughts like you feel the effects of whiskey. You do not become the thought. You are not the thought you're thinking. You're feeling the results of the thought you're thinking and the belief of the thought that you're thinking. When you believe the thought and you're tossing back all those negative things, it doesn't matter what you know. It matters what you can do in the moment to take yourself out of the situation, to take your reaction and mold it differently, to move forward with it. So let me read here. You guys are talking really fast. Let's see. So Sean says you only win or learn. You only win or learn. It depends on how you look at it. Robin says failure is nothing more than a perspective. That's true. It is nothing more than a perspective. It's not who you are. It's a word that you use so you can belittle and judge yourself and beat yourself up and then get drunk on the pain of feeling like a victim or a failure or whatever it is that you're saying. I don't let myself have negative intimacy. I do not let myself have negative intimacy with me or another person. And that is a very key thing. Robert says pain is temporary. Quitting lasts forever. That's true. Pain is temporary and quitting lasts forever. Yes, you win or learn, Sean. Somebody is saying yes. Barb says, I see failures as challenges and awakenings. Ooh, I like that perspective. I see failures as challenges and awakenings. That's true, because it's part of you win or you learn. And even when you win, you learn. You're in a constant state of awakening in consciousness. Now, it's interesting that you said that, because Sean and I were talking earlier about conscious living. And he put a post up that I think is fantastic. Just the most brilliant post. And it's underneath another post. But what I want to glean from it is that when we get to the point where we begin to live consciously, we stop having negative intimacy with ourselves and we have empowering intimacy with ourselves, which means I don't let myself believe a negative thought. If I have it, if I feel it, I've even let myself indulge in it for like 10 whole minutes or 20 whole minutes, but not more than 24 hours. I don't let myself have pity parties. The second I do, I ask myself, what do you want? What is it that you want that you are too vulnerable to ask for? Is it forgiveness? Forgive me? Is it love? Is it encouragement? What is it that I need that I'm unwilling to give myself or ask from another person? What is it that I'm unwilling to do for me that I want somebody else to do for me without me having to name it? Like, I tell me I'm great without me asking. That kind of negative intimacy that you have with yourself, that blocks you from moving forward and being able to transform the thing that needs transformation. So I love that, Barb. I really love, I see failures as challenges and awakenings, and the awakening is the opportunity. That's such a beautiful statement, and I'm going to steal that one. I just love challenges and awakenings. Thank you for that. So Robert says life is full of screw ups. You're supposed to fail sometimes. It's a required part of the human existence. Yes. I think it is like having training wheels on when you have that. When you screw up in life, it gives you the opportunities to learn to react differently. It's required. Now, I want to let you know, yesterday I was watching a show that had a lot of drama in it. There was a lot of decisions that were like, choices that were kind of Sophie's choice, one of those horrible choices that you make as you work with your health or anything else. And I thought, wow, those are some tough choices to make. These are tough choices. Do I, take the baby off life support? Do I leave the baby on life support? I mean, these are decisions in life that feel like they're going to have consequences at the end of it. So I remember my dad, when he died, my dad died. He had lung cancer really bad. He smoked 3.5 packs of cigarettes a day, literally 3.5 packs of cigarettes a day for years. And he had lung cancer, and they couldn't even he had so much cancer in his lung, they couldn't they couldn't cut him open. So his best friend had a medical power of attorney. And I remember when we decided to, and it was a decision by all of us, to take my dad off life support, how many years that person lived with guilt. Did I do the right thing? 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 That's the kind of beating up on yourself I'm talking about. And so we had to do a lot of reiterating. Yes, we did the right thing. We did the right thing. We went by his wishes. We did that. Those kinds of things that make you feel like you can beat yourself up, etc. Those are other thoughts where you need to stop yourself, especially parents. Parents are like, oh my God, did I do the right thing? Did I do the right thing? Did I do the right thing? And we look at those thoughts, they torture us. And if a thought is going to torture you, you need to find out where it's plugged into and pull that plug out. That's having an awakening. That it's like if your thoughts are torturing you and you can't move forward, that's when you're supposed to unplug it. Find it and unplug it. Even if you feel like a failure, this is life. It's a school of learning. We judge too much ourselves and others. And when we drop that judgment, when we move that judgment away and we become more awake and kind to ourselves, guess what? We start being kind in the world, and kind things happen to us. I believe my experience in the world is a reflection of how I treat the world. Kindly, lovingly, supportively, whatever it is that you are, if you're harsh, if you're this or that, there are lots of ways that the world reflects what you think of yourself or what you think the world is. It's like a mirrored reflection. If you look all around you, there's clues everywhere that help you have that awakening or that more consciousness. And the more consciousness you have, the more you rise in consciousness, the more success can unfold. Because a rise in consciousness is the ability to track yourself and move you in the direction you actually want to go, in the way that you actually want to be in purposefully. So if we look at our expectations of the adventure we have been super successful. Yeah, if you look at our expectation of the adventure, we've been super successful, but we expected different outcomes. Therefore, we label it negatively. Yes, 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 yes. You want to make sure that you're really looking at it. Most people have a lot of success. They just label it negatively. And Robert, I got to say, I love that life is full of screw ups. You're supposed to fail sometimes. It's required part of human existence. Yes. And I don't know if life is full of screw ups. I know that I've screwed up a lot in my life. And so I'm gonna agree with that. Life can be kind of, screwy uppy that way. Let's see. If we look at our expectations of the adventure, we may have been super successful, but we expect different outcomes. Therefore, we label it negatively. I like the awakening aspects, great attitude and approach. Me too. I love that as well. That's true, Robert. If we fail, we have never stretched ourselves, grown, or we have stayed in our little bubble. That's also true. Empowering intimacy. Let's see. That's right. Empowering intimacy all the way. Robin says, it's so easy to get in a loop about raising children, beating yourself up, and doing the right thing, whatever that is. Yeah, I get it. It's not healthy to beat yourselves up, though it is empowering to reflect later and explore the perfection of your experience. I agree. Sean wrote, the world is part of your life. The world is part of your life. That should be a bumper sticker. The world is part of your life. Take care of it. Oh, God, Sean, you are really dropping the bombs today. Your life does not belong to the world. You decide what you allow in by the thoughts, interactions, and choices you make to let people and circumstances into your life story. The most important part is that you always get to choose. I'm going to read that again. That is so good. Sean says, the world is part of your life. Oh, God, that is just so amazing. The world is part of your life. Your life does not belong to the world. You decide what you allow in by the thoughts, interactions, and choices you make to let people and circumstances into your life story. The most important part is that you always get to choose. That's the free will aspect. Thank you, Sean. That was really good. Lori says, if we never fail, we never learn. It would just be too weird to be successful every single time. I don't know. I might like to try that. Well, no, there is a learning curve. I agree. That's a tough subject. I really like success. And I like that, I keep doing, but I don't believe in failure. So it's really in that thing that the thing is, to me, failure is, well, it didn't go my way. Or, yeah, I thought it was a good idea. I don't know. I have a hard time, but you're right. In failures, we learn so much, don't we? In failures, in the thought of failure, when you pull yourself out, here's the key thing. I don't let myself have a pity party, and I don't camp out in failure. I'm like, okay, that didn't work. Next, go to that next thing. How do we get that to work? And I let the universe tell me. I'm like, okay, what do you want me to know, universe? What do you want me to know? Show me what you want me to know. And then I practice paying attention. So let's see. It's great to remember that. Thanks for sharing, Lori. I love that, the way you think, Sean. I do too. Robert Stern says, I love this quote. Failure is a bend in the road, not the end of the road. Ooh, I like this. Learn from failure and keep moving forward. I love that too. It's Roy T. Bennett. And it's failure is a bend in the road, not the end of the road. Learn from failure and keep moving forward. I love that, Robert. Donald says, change your mind, change your direction. Change is constant, and the right you have to navigate, through your adventure called life. Let go, rechart, refocus your vision to create a new adventure called your life. That's true. That's true. It's like, one of the things that can happen is when you think you're going on one direction and then it takes a right turn or a left turn, or it looks like it's going backwards. You're sailing this way, and then the ship starts going this way. And the first thing you think is, no, we're not supposed to go this way. Who said we're not supposed to go this way? We pay attention to this message. What's happening to the ship that we're going this way? Is it avoiding an iceberg? Is it avoiding? What is it doing? We repurpose, rethink, remove, and regain momentum again. So failure is unmet expectations plus negative labeling and minus seeing the opportunity. Now, Robin, that is the quotable for today. Failure, unmet expectations. Unmet expectations. And when you start something, it's really great to have a plan, but not expectations. Expectations, you have to pay attention to what is happening, not what you expect to happen. So failure is unmet expectations plus negative labeling plus seeing the opportunity. Very good. I love that, Robin. Love your waxing poetic beautiful. Yes. Ooh, love that tool. Love that too. So what I want to say today is failure is the opportunity to have an awakening, to have a look at. Don't let your engine room get drunk on a word and create negative intimacy for yourself. Let yourself feel like, okay, what's going on here? I feel ashamed. I feel, I don't want to put my head up. I don't want to be around people who are, not doing things the way I thought it was going to be done. And keep going. Just reevaluate. Look at it. Take another step. Go further. It's like no matter what happens at the end of it, you are going to win or you're going to learn more about how to win. That's what's going to happen. Happy Friday. I will see you guys on Monday. It's going to be 9:00 on the West and 10:00 in the mountain. And on the East Coast, it's going to be noon. Peace out. I love you all. I'll see you next week. Have a great weekend.